Welcome back to the channel, guys. Konami just announced some new Earth Machine monsters, and you wouldn't believe the bridge that they create with Tistina. I've talked a lot about Tistina on this channel, and honestly, it's one of my favorite decks. It's a pet deck of mine, similar to how Goaty is, and honestly, like, I love it. I really thought that I solved it with the Fiendsmith stuff because of just how awesome it was that you could make a Chaos Angel, get rid of some things, and then turn the Chaos Angel into an Omni Negate, and we had Moon of the Closed Heaven, so we were able to go from Tistina into the Fiendsmith stuff, and almost vice versa with that Chaos Angel bridge, but it just didn't quite get there. You know, it never really did anything, though I went positive at nets. I made it to round 7 before I finally had to drop. There were some people who were rather disappointed when I beat them with that, but it still just isn't quite there. And now that I've been playtesting this new version of Tistina that we're going to get to in a moment, I really think that there's an actual meta shot here. So these new cards are the new Superdreadnought Rank 10s, and if you know anything about Tistina, they love Rank 10s, specifically the generic ones. And there's a new Superdreadnought Rail Cannon, I believe it's Gustav Rocket. Now, this card is good no matter what version of Tistina that you're playing, because you're just going to overlay it on top of a Gustav Max that you control by discarding a card. But the other one, Flying Launcher, is the one that we're going to be talking about today, because it searches you any Earth Machine monster. Now, you might be thinking that, oh, any Earth Machine monster, okay, so we're going to tie this into trains, but we're actually going to be searching a level 5 fan favorite in the meta right now, K9 Noroi. Oh, but Dana, Miasma Dragon Tistina locks you from hand and graveyard. You can't special summon things from there. But Dana, this sounds like so much. This is probably too much. You can probably only play like 0 hand traps. Both of these were actually valid points when I was discussing the Fiendsmith version, but to be honest, it matters even less with this, which is unexpected because of how the K9 cards actually work. So let's go over how the K9 cards work, how they can bridge with Tistina, why specifically Miasma is a little bit of anti-synergy, and just how this deck is actually better, and I'll show you some gameplay clips that I have of it too. K904 Noroi is a level 5 Earth Machine effect monster. If your opponent has 2 or more cards in their hand, you can normal summon this card without tributing. You can only use each of the following effects of K904 Noroi once per turn. If this card is normal summoned, you can special summon 1 non-machine K9 monster from your deck, but you cannot special summon from the extra deck except K9 monsters, while you control that face-up monster. You can send 1 face-up K9 card you control to the graveyard. Look at your opponent's hand. How are we searching this? None other than Superdreadnought Rail Cannon Flying Launcher, which is a rank 10 Earth Machine XYZ's effect monster, 3800 attack, 3000 defense, so this thing is a monster, and it only requires 2 level 10 monsters. You can normal summon 1 machine monster during your main phase each turn, in addition to your normal summon / set. And of course, you can only gain this effect once per turn as part of like a reminder text here. You can only use each of the following effects of Flying Launcher once per turn. If this card is XZ summoned, you can add 1 Earth Machine monster or Barrage Blast from your deck to your hand. Now, of course, we will not be playing Barrage Blast, so you will be adding an Earth Machine. You can detach any number of materials from this card, then target that many spell or traps on the field and destroy them. So not only does this search your K9 plays, or at least to start your combo for them, it can also get rid of some of those pesky spells and traps that your opponent may have set if you're going second, and force them to use them a little bit earlier than they would want to. While we're here, we're just going to go over Superdreadnought Rail Cannon Gustav Rocket. This is a rank 10 Earth Machine XYZ effect monster with 5,000 and 3,000. This thing is gargantuan. It requires 3 level 10 monsters, or once per turn, you can also XZ summon Superdreadnought Rail Cannon Gustav Rocket by discarding 1 card and using Superdreadnought Rail Cannon Gustav Max you control, transfer its materials to this card. When your opponent activates a monster effect while this card has material, quick effect, you can negate that effect, and if you do, destroy that monster, then inflict 1000 damage to your opponent. You can only use this effect once per turn. Also, once per turn during your end phase, detach a material from this card or destroy it. So this card does have a maintenance cost associated with it, but that is rarely ever going to actually come up. Something I do want to point out here is you can discard Miasma Dragon Tistina to overlay on top of this and further your Tistina plays. With how flawlessly these two archetypes actually seem to bridge together now with these rank 10s, it's unbelievably smooth, as you can see from some of the gameplay here. Just how the K9 stuff can really set up a really oppressive board, and that is protecting your Tistina play lines from setting up further interactions. For the most part, you can add things to your hand and not have to worry about Droll because you're going to have a Ripper on board. Like, there's just a lot of really neat ways to play around the hand traps that screw over Tistina now. Now, of course, this is also just preliminary testing. I haven't really put this deck to the test because I'm not able to play this in ranked. I'm not able to take this to my locals, but I can sit here and anticipate how this is going to work just by seeing how the cards actually interact. And like I said, with Ripper and your hand traps, you know, Tistina really had to worry about Droll a lot, and it also had to worry about Nibiru right before going into a Varadris. But if you're just able to make a Ripper on 3 because of Noroi, like, you can really throw your opponent through a loop. Like, they have to have an Imperm or an Effect Veiler plus their hand trap, and they have to know what you're doing, because if you just also have the material to make a Varadris before finishing your lines, you just also have another Omni Negate on board. It can be really oppressive, and if they don't do anything, I don't think they're actually playing through your end boards. These few clips here are honestly just enough to show you the type of synergy between these two. Like, the way that certain cards interact with how things go. Like, Flying Launcher being able to destroy a spell or trap can destroy a case for K9 on your field and reset your Forced Release. And if you have no use for the Forced Release, you can then use Sentinel of Tistina to destroy the Forced Release and search another Tistina card and just go for crazy OTKs. Valon the Super Size Sky Blaster is just something you can make with the K9 engine, and it already flips a monster on your opponent's field face down, and you can target a face down card on the field and destroy it. So you don't even need to use its own effect to flip a monster face down, because you can use Breath of the Tistina to flip another monster face down and destroy it with Valon if you deem that monster needs to be destroyed before the other one, or if you want to leave a face down your opponent's board for whatever reason. Your end board potentially being a K9 Jax with a set Forced Release and a Nash Knight plus a Varadris and an IP Masquerena just sounds so unbelievably busted to me right now. And Forced Release isn't even making Ripper, it's making K9X Ripper Millennia, which will be released by the time that these cards are released. All of this playtesting behind you is also against an AI which doesn't activate monster effects in the hand, so I haven't even really discovered what the K9 stuff can do during my opponent's turn, or even on my turn yet, before locking myself into not being able to summon the K9 stuff. Honestly, what I can really say about K9 Tistina is I'm excited and I'm optimistic. I really think that this stuff is going to be awesome together. I think it's going to be really interesting. Now, of course, the K9 engine has to survive until these cards come out. Otherwise, it's just really not going to work. If K9 gets hit on the ban list to the point where it's not playable anymore, then this is kaput and we'll have to look elsewhere. But as of right now, this is looking really good. And it's all thanks to this guy right here that was very clearly not designed for us. Thank you, Flying Launcher. Now, of course, even if K9 is hit, Gustav Rocket is actually still a really good card, and it really does help. And maybe you have to go back to the Tistina stuff, maybe you have to try some other routes, but if we have K9 available, this is the way to play the deck now. And holy cow, like, when I was just running some of those playtests, everything seemed so flawless. The Miasma Dragon Lock didn't even matter for the most part, unless you have to start your play lines on that. You get hand trapped. Okay, you can't summon Azuna. You have to wait until their turn. Lupus going into a Typhon would just be absolutely bonkers as always, and it just pretty much shuts down Draco Tail if you do that. So, like, honestly, it's just so good, actually, to just have an engine that, like, can play on your opponent's turn, like something that is basically hand traps, but they're not, because they further your goals too. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed this, and if you like content like this, let me know and I'll do some cards that are coming out in the future. We got some new Magnet Warrior support coming out that I'm extremely interested in, and I actually have some gameplay of that is like unbelievable. I decided to just not share it yet because I'm going to do a bigger video on it, but if you want to see Magnet Warriors, let me know. If you want to see more Tistina, more development behind Canine Tistina, also let me know. And just shoot everything down into the comments, hit a like, subscribe to me, and you won't miss any videos in the future. And I'll see you next time.